I wouldn't say that we have any automated tools or anything that we're cracking open every browser you could think of, and just running it through, just to make sure everything's just perfect to pass on over.
Richard, what are you guys doing these days?
We have a similar tool set to what you're seeing with Authenticate, which is great. You guys are adding a couple of new things that we don't have, like Flash usage, for instance. But the problem we run into over and over again, and every publisher here probably has heard it before, is that having the tools is not enough. You need something that's more solving at an industry level, because what happens is we'll find something, and we'll try to kick it back. And of course, the response is going to be, well, every other site on the buy is taking it as is. You guys need to take it too. Otherwise, you're sticking out, and you're being hard to do business with. So we're looking for any option on an industry level that can really help us address that.
Look at that, even Yahoo hears that. Right? So actually, let's talk a little bit about just from kind of the future, right? So let's talk a little bit about kind of where this needs to go. So a lot of these problems start with the agency, right? How important is pushing some of these capabilities back to the agency, and what types of things should they have the ability to get access to versus not have access to, and what would you trust, not trust? Tell us a little bit about what would be your ideal going forward.
Yeah, I think the thing that excited us about Authenticate when we got looped into the project was that we could really help solve a lot of those issues upstream. And because the technology, as you talked about, has APIs, that we would be able to then bake this tool into our own tools, which is really exciting because all the creative agencies have that tool already of ours to build rich media ads very quickly. So if now we're able to additionally have them verify, sort of check, everything lines up, it meets this spec before it gets to us, I mean, that's going to save a ton of time.
Yeah, so being upstream in a workflow process is obviously the biggest thing, because then you're getting rid of the late creative problem, hopefully.
Yeah.
But for us, we'd like to take a step beyond that, where we're sort of doing more workflow automation, by which we have, instead of us having to review it and validate it and send it back to them if it's broken, have another party kind of validate it before it gets to us in the first place. So we have a nice system where we get into ads that are hopefully already validated, and we can just run with there. So that's our pipe dream.
That's the pipe dream.
I mean, it still doesn't solve having to, make sure creatively everything functions as expected. But you're looking at a majority of the issues being flagged right out of the gate, and then we can have teams start making sure that it's meeting the creative vision as it was supposed to.
How about buried pixels, right? Is that a big issue for you guys in terms of people burying things inside of tags? And
yeah, there's a whole number of vendors outside that are trying to find that stuff and sort of provide that information to publishers. So finding visibility into sort of what's going on, for instance, a third-party tag that you're mentioning. Again, we can build tools around that, but hopefully we can have that exposed and everybody has the same tools, then we can really get the bad players out of the system.
How important, obviously we can integrate it to any creative platform, right? Whether it be PointRolls or Creative Suite or whatever the agency wants to use. Tell me a little bit about the ad server side, right? So how important is it to have some integration with the ad server itself? Is that something that you think publishers should be, kind of essentially publishing an open standard for, so that could happen, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. It's one thing to have more comprehensiveness in how you're validating ads, for sure. But for us, we're very productivity focused. And so we don't want to add anything to our workflow which is going to really disrupt our productivity. So to have it integrated into our actual ad systems is going to sort of streamline that process and hopefully make it a net positive or at least neutral for productivity. So it's very important to us.
So you don't have an ad server, so I don't ask you the same question.
Well, on that side, right?
So tell me a little bit, let's talk about the format. So you mentioned, right, you would now get some Flash capabilities. You talked about the pain to kind of break Flash open, figure out what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about stuff outside of Flash. In terms of things, let's think about HTML, for example. Talk about kind of how you're seeing the evolution. I think, at least when I was back in the business, it seemed like the majority of stuff was coming through as Flash files. Tell me now, how have things changed? What things really matter? Tell me about different mediums, mobile versus tablets versus, give me a rundown of where you see the most problems.
We're definitely seeing an uptick in mobile and in tablet, and specifically around creatives coming in built in HTML5. There's a few challenges. First, I think everyone's gotten comfortable working in Flash and know how to troubleshoot really quickly as far as how it's going to perform on different phones and different browsers, what's going to be supported right out of the gate. With HTML5, it's like a lot of agencies are seem to be starting from square one in a bit, and we're really trying to to help them on that side. It would be nice. One of the things on our wish list for Adobe is to have some to bake in the HTML5 validation pieces as well, video support for it. Make sure that the right video type format is being
So VAST and VPaid.
Yep, for VAST and VPaid, but also even just like to the file wrapper itself.